I love pirates and have for many years. Whenever I'm given the opportunity to write about a topic of my choosing, I always pick pirates. I've read dozens of pirate related books, so finding sources is never an issue. One of my favorite books ever is Pirate Enlightenment or The Real Libertalia by David Graeber, a British historian, anarchist, and anthropologist. Graeber focuses on an oft overlooked aspect of piracy, namely how Enlightenment ethics influence their public perception. He does this by discussing Libertalia, the supposed pirate utopia of the 1700s. Spoiler alert, it didn't exist, but public discourse about it is very representative of how pirates were publicly perceived at the time. The crux of the issue is the separation between how thoroughly emplaced old theistic, puritanical, monarchical power structures viewed piracy versus how new Enlightenment power structures predicated on democracy, meritocracy, and individual freedom viewed piracy. Pirates towed the line between folk hero revolutionaries and demonic murderers. I wanted to explore this juxtaposition in my inquiry essay. One small problem. As you can probably tell from the mouthful of a thesis statement, I have a lot to say about this topic. A lot more than 1,000 words. 4,386 words, to be exact. That was the length of the first draft of my inquiry essay, which I already thought omitted way too much. Long story short, I was able to cut it down to the required word count, but I was not proud of the final product. So, as I'm staring down the barrel of a thesis essay, I have some decisions to make. The core issue is that I have a huge amount of information, but a very small, finite amount of words. This graph reminded me of this book I read, The Siren's Call by Chris Hayes, about the attention economy. Now, I know you aren't supposed to switch topics, but I knew I couldn't fit everything I wanted to say about pirates into 1,000 words, especially if I wanted to be proud of the result. So, the core problem of the entertainment economy is that there is more information than there is attention in the world. This is the basic sentiment I read about in the Chris Hayes book. Revisiting the Chris Hayes book led me to Neil Postman's Entertaining Ourselves to Death, which is a borderline prescient book, the thesis of which is that form excludes content. Essentially, as content gets smaller and stupider and brighter, so do our minds, so do our ideas, so does our discourse. This led me to the Marxist theory of the commodification of labor and the alienation of the laborer and how that is translated into the attention economy. Long story short, it's bad for us, it's bad for the world. I crammed as much as I could into 1,000 words. It was okay, but I had more to say as usual. Moral of the story is that brevity is not my gift, and I need to find less interesting stuff to write about.